Welcome to this episode of Authentic AI. Today, we're going to dive into the world of artificial intelligence with me, Jackie,
Hi, I'm Chelene.
and we are the co-founders of Revenue Pulse Advisors and big CharmIQ champions, which we'll share much more about today. In this episode, we are going to cut through the hype. We're offering practical tips and real-world examples of how AI can boost your productivity, your creativity, and even your family life. So, if you are an individual that's curious about AI from a professional perspective to seeking productivity boost, educators, parents, and anyone looking to understand and utilize AI effectively, this episode will be for you.
Let's get started, Jackie. I thought it'd be fun to kick off the podcast with some fun facts or some demystifying facts to help our audience kind of get revved up in the AI world. So I'll start. One that's I'm very passionate about is AI in education. I don't know if any parents are watching right now, but I know for my both of my kids, I have kid one and kid two. I had to sign a bunch of papers saying that my kids weren't allowed to use AI in their work, but that is not it may be a rule now, but it's not a rule that we follow in our house because AI is powerful in education. AI tutors are revolutionizing the learning and personalization lessons for students, helping them reinforce their learning, helping them do their work smarter and faster, but not doing the work for them. So there are parameters in AI that can help our kids, like a very expensive tutor that I had to pay for both my kids last year, and the cost was $60 an hour. I no longer have to pay those tutors because I can use AI to help them reinforce their learning. And I'll show you a little bit about how I do that. But I want to share with you guys how I use CharmIQ in my family life with kid one and kid two. I have two kids, one's in high school and one's in middle school. And the beginning of the year, I said, I'm not going to spend all of this money on tutors when I have these amazing tools. So what I did was I created charms for my kids. And what these teacher charms do, and I'll give you an example of one of them. So when you have CharmIQ, you can create these charms or these AI assistants, and they're amazing. So I came into the system and I wanted to create a ninth grade geography teacher slash tutor for kid one who's in high school. He was really having a challenge with geography, and I couldn't afford five more tutors. So I created this amazing tutor for him that he has access to when he's doing projects, when he's studying for tests, or when he just need reinforcement or explanation on learnings. And this is just, and how I created this charm is I just pulled in the teacher's syllabus, the book. I just told the system what book they use in the class, and I pulled together some of the reference materials that the teacher gave the class at the beginning of the year to create this ninth grade geography teacher slash tutor. And how I use this charm and how kid one uses this charm is he just comes and opens up a workspace. So let's do something fun. I'm going to go over here and I'll show you this charm in action. So like we did before, we create a new workspace and we'll just say it's going to be
Geography quiz, chapter 9.
So I create a workspace, I give it a little header, and now we're just going to,
I have a quiz coming up on chapter 9. Can you help me create a pre-quiz that I can take to help strengthen my knowledge for this chapter to ensure I get a good grade, period? Thank you.
but now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in my ninth grade tutor, not the English teacher, but we're going to do geography.
Can you imagine if we had this back when we were growing up? I
Right?
think I'd be smarter.
I
I
know
don't.
I'd be smarter. Back in our day, we had, what were those Cliff Notes, right?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
ninth grade geography for dummies.
Yeah.
But the beauty of this system and this platform and this technology is you create the charm once, you give it the reference materials, you create the charm, you give it the name of the book, you give it the reference materials that the teacher gave you, and now that charm lives in your platform and works for you however you need her to work. I always refer to her as a her because kid one's teacher is a woman. So as you can see, we created a chapter 9 pre-quiz. And I will tell you from my personal experience and Kid One's personal experiences, there is a technology they have at the school. It's like a Quizlet. But he said, Mom, the charm quizzes are so much closer to the actual quiz I take. He went from getting a C in geography to an A, right? And I feel like that had to do with him being able to have access to these quizzes, have access to the reinforcement and the learning within seconds, right? And as you can see, it's not cheating, right? It's actually empowering him to be more engaged with the content, to be more engaged with the textbook, to be more engaged with what he's learning in the actual classroom. And it doesn't cost me $60 an hour, which is great.
And it's fascinating too, because I bet child one can go ahead and just highlight over what the answer is. And then you can utilize that charm to go ahead and help say if it is a correct answer in response. And if it's not, why, to basically help again foster that learning.
Yes.
So it's fascinating how the platform works.
It is. It is. Like you said, Jackie, you can just simply highlight the answers and engage right in the platform, which is great because obviously all of our children have laptops for school, and so they can be engaged in right here with the tutor and take the quiz over and over again. You can even say, kind of an interesting thing here.
This was an awesome quiz. Can you make it a little harder and do a fill in the blank questions to really test my knowledge on chapter 9? Thank you.
Okay, ninth grade geography. Right. So as you can see, the quiz went up in how hard or challenging it might be, really testing the knowledge of the student. So the opportunities are endless in the platform from a family perspective, from a tutoring perspective, and from a teacher perspective. And you can create guardrails when you create the charm, but it really has made a difference in Kid One's ability to not only understand the information and digest it, but really test the knowledge. It's pretty incredible.
It is incredible. And if you're a tutor, you could use this platform as well to help, level up the tutoring that you do today. And just think about how quickly you can generate, again, these quizzes or this content to really help the children learn and advance.
Yeah. And interestingly enough, I have had conversations with his teachers because I did want to let them know that we were using this platform to reinforce the learning. So I had one-on-one meetings with the teachers to make sure it was okay to utilize technology. They said, absolutely. They have safe rails in high school to make sure kids aren't just copying, pasting using ChatGPT. But the interesting difference there is ChatGPT has no context, right? They don't have the syllabus. They don't have the guidelines. They don't have the actual, information they need to be really contextual to the user on the other end. But in this case, because of the charms and because of the reference materials and because of the way we can fine tune the machine to really understand Kid One, some interesting things I do when we create the charms. Kid One is really into football, really into sports. So I give the persona of the teacher or the tutor, like Kid One really loves football. His favorite team is the 49ers. When you're helping reinforce the learning, if you can compare it to any sports or famous athletes, it'll really resonate with him and get him interested in the learning.
Which is, again, just a wonderful way to help somebody learn and grow because, I think back to when I was a kid and it was tough to sit there and listen to a teacher and try to absorb something. But when you have something customized to you as a child and what you're interested in and doing comparisons and analogies, it really just it helps you take things so much further and really get involved and interested.
Yeah, one last example I'll share, which was a pretty powerful one for Kid One. In his English class, they were reading a book. And I want to say the title, but I'm afraid I'd say it wrong. Fahrenheit 415. I don't know. Anyways, he was having a really hard time reading it. He didn't find it interesting the way it was written. The content was really interesting to him, but like he was like some of the words, I'm not gelling with it, Mom. I'm not understanding. I'm understanding it, but I'm not into it. So we created a charm based on that book that could engage with him, that he could simply talk to the charm about the book and riff with the charm about the content, about the characters, and the charm would then translate it to him in a way that was interesting to him, which then really resonated with him, so he could really grasp the concepts and relate with the characters. And so that's another way you can use a charm to engage with education, which I thought was, and for my very own kids saw the light bulb go off and the engagement rise, which I know his teacher appreciates.
Yeah. And for you to see the activity and the action in him going from, a C in one grade up to an A, it just again proves that this is technology that really has an impact and really works.
Yes, absolutely. Well, this has been so much fun, Jackie. I know we'll do it again. And for those of you listening and or watching, we hope you join us again for another edition of Authentic AI. See you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.